Hello and welcome to Pure Word Creations. My name is Tahira. Thank you so much for being with me today. I have two journals that I made from a Crafty Malika digital kit entitled Afro-Carib. It's a junk journal kit that she has on in her Etsy shop. I will link that kit below as well as her shop, Crafty Malika. And I wanted to make two journals from that same kit because um, I was able to make two different themed journals from that same kit. So this is the Caribbean themed one and the more African themed one. And I could actually make three more different themed journals from that kit. So Kelly of Crafty Malika definitely gave us a gift in that kit where you have so many beautiful images and that you could make so many different themed journals or combine the themes into one journal. However way you want to do it, it's lovely. So I made these two journals. They're made out of fabric and packaging. The covers are. Um, and I use the same fabric. This is the outside of the fabric and this the inside of the fabric. So it's the exact same fabric. So I made them both the same, but wanted to show you how using one kit you can get different looks. So I'll flip through this first one. I made this first and I made this one second. And so I'll flip through this one first. All right, so here's the Caribbean themed journal. And here's the back again. So I have this image from her digital kit, Crafty Malika's digital kit, the Africa-Carib junk journal kit. And I printed the image on dyed canvas. And that canvas has been matted onto wallpaper, and that has been glued onto this rust dyed fabric doily. And that's the cover. All right, so going inside, I have some more dyed canvas inside. And I have begun both, it's a one signature journal, if I haven't mentioned that. And the signature begins with some of Tamara Crumble's rust and coffee dye paper. She did a beautiful job with this paper. And so we have the first image of the signature. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And all of the prints are, all of the digitals are printed on some kind of dyed paper. So in actuality, the images are brighter than they are in this journal. I'm just filling dyed papers lately, so I'm printing on those for now. But yeah, when you see the kit and when you see the images on the Etsy listing, the images will be brighter than they are in this journal. But isn't this so cute? Love all of the food too. All right. And then Kelly also has background papers, some Caribbean inspired papers and some African inspired papers. My printer was acting up, not gonna lie. So I was only able to print out some of the Caribbean inspired background papers and not the African ones. But I also wanted to make these journals knowing that things were going awry, things going to go awry at some point, right? And my printer was only printing out a limited amount of these digitals, but I still wanted to make these journals, and so I grabbed other things in my stash and made it work. And I feel like, I don't feel like they're lacking in any way. So just wanted to give y'all some inspiration when things go awry. This is some of my rust dyed paper that you can still make something beautiful and make something substantial. All right, so I stamped these three birds here, inspired by Bob Marley's song "Three Little Birds." When I went to a performing arts boarding school my last 2 years of high school, and during Thanksgiving, it was such a short holiday that I couldn't go home. So I stayed with a friend of mine whose grandmother had a house near our school. But her family, my friend's family is originally from Montserrat, so which is a Caribbean island, and she would begin the day every day listening to Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, and of course the message is, don't worry about a thing, every little thing is going to be all right. So they're the three little birds to remind us that everything is going to be all right. We all need that message. Here's some aged paper, some aged graph paper actually that I found at Goodwill. And that slips in this little pocket flip. And this is a book page that talks about islands as well, island life as well. I'll put the book name in the description box. And they have like foods of sorrel and sugarcane mentioned in the text as well. Here's some dyed paper that I was gifted by Cameron of Lotus and Nightshade. Here's another one of Kelly Maleka's digitals, dancing with the beautiful background. And that was on dyed glassine. Here's some ledger paper, lined ledger paper. Here's a stamp from My Paper Project. The artist is from the Philippines, and that's an archipelago. So that's a series of islands. So again, island life. This is actually from the digital, Kelly's digital, and these are some lines along with that beautiful orange color. But that was actually printed on some of Tamara's coffee dye paper that has these designs on it from a placemat. Here's another digital. Again, my printer was acting up, but working with it, Some scrapbook paper. Here's another one of Kelly's backgrounds. I just made that into a tuck spot. This is a coin envelope from Dollar Tree, along with a stamp from Dollar Tree, says enjoy life. And inside is just some paper, some black bean dye paper from Renee at Renee's Out of the Kin. Some rust dyed line paper. Here's some washi tape from Cookie Sticker Co. And if you can't really see the image, it's a woman blowing some bubble gum, and she has her little bantu knots. Very cute. Another one of Kelly's images. The colors are really beautiful, and the images are really, really beautiful. They're fun. Here's the other side of that, or another book page that has currant cake. Some aged line paper I got from Renee. In a gifted music textbook, there was a song, a calypso song from Jamaica called Linstead Market, and it's about this woman trying to sell her ackee, which is a fruit, a Jamaican fruit, in the market, and she's having trouble doing that. And then there's this market scene from Kelly's kit, and that's actually printed on ledger paper, so those lines are meant to be there. But I just love all the fruit, the tropical fruit that she's put in her kit. It's really awesome. And she's put some seafood in there too. Again, that's printed on ledger paper, so those lines are in the background. And then I use some of that background printable as a tuck. And this is out of like an Essence magazine, and it's actually an ad for the Cayman Islands. And then I had a sticker here that says "Find Your Bliss." I put that on some dyed fabric. And this is all on an indigo dyed handmade paper from Village Papermaker. And this paper's from Dollar Tree. This is a sticker from Amy Tangerine. I had a sticker book from that's dated like 2011. I started scrapbooking in 2012, so I've had that sticker book for a while. Here's some paper. Yeah, I got this paper from Renee. That's in some wallpaper that I got from Tamara. That's some of my rust-dyed paper. Rust-dyed envelope. Another one of my paper projects stamp. And it says Isla Grande Bay. Isla means island. So all fitting. And then I have this vintage photograph. I know this is not from the islands, but it just fit. The vibe of it fit for this journal. Some Nepalese paper from Paper Connection. Another one of Amy Tangerine's stickers. This is some mead lined paper that I found at the library, and I dyed it, and it originally looked like this. This is what it really originally looked like, but it dyed to this. Came out really well. Ledger paper. This is some dyed packing paper, I believe. In this bag, I have a card, rust-dyed card. That aged mead paper. I was gifted this flip-flop washi. It's fun. More printing on dyed glassine paper from Kelly's Kit. Another book page. Again, loving all of the fruit that's displayed in these images. Again, I'll leave the name of the book in the description box. Amy Tangerine's sticker. This is a Daiso envelope, and I just stamped it with a stamp I got from a creative reuse shop, Delight in Life. And inside, just have a Rust and Eco Dye piece of paper there. It's all clipped. All right, here's some Ocean Life washi. Another one of my paper projects stamps. I don't believe she's selling these stamps currently. I got them years ago. Again, just using what I have. I was gifted this ribbon. It says Create, Believe, Imagine, Create. I believe I got that from Miss Mason. Or I got it from Felicia of Bible Scraps. Here's some more of my rust-dyed paper. Rust-dyed Rolodex card. Got those Rolodex cards from Cameron. Fabric flip, and actually there's an old sticker that I had from my scrapbooking days, Toes in the Sand. It's fabric flip. Oh, and that's the ocean theme too. Some sea life there. So I used, that was all one piece of paper, that background paper that I just cut up and used different ways. That's just a plain. Hopefully I'm going from where I left off. This background design paper works really well with this man's shirt. Again, that's printed on ledger paper. Another one of Amy Tangerine stickers. Just the other side of that market digital image. Here's this book page image. So the current cakes. Here's the three little birds again. This is a different stamp set. This stamp set is from Dollar Tree. And actually, I wasn't going to originally put this stamp on there, but then I was just like, let me look and see if there's actually swallowtails in the Caribbean, and there are. And of course, this is a hummingbird. There's actually a swallowtail hummingbird. They call it a streamer-tail hummingbird. That's also called the doctor bird, and that is the national bird of Jamaica. Crafting and learning. This ribbon is from Dollar Tree. All right, and the side of the tuck is a coffee and rust-dyed envelope. Another one of those rust-dyed Rolodex cards. I think these envelopes came out really well. It's really fun. Here's a CD jacket with more rust-dyed paper in it. It just flips open. There's a little bit of that scene in Kelly's digital. More of her journaling lines right there. And that color is also a part of Kelly's kit. Another beautiful image from the journal kit. Some recycled paper and a coin envelope. The other side of that dancing digital. Some scrapbook paper. It's a part of the book page with flip-flop covered feet. Amy Tangerine's sticker. And this is actually half of a stamp. It's an Ex Libris stamp that has a sun on it, but I didn't want the face of the sun. So I just stamped half of it and put it on my rust-dyed paper. And so on this side is the sun. And I had a stamping snafu over here, so I put some stickers of a moon and stars here, and that works pretty well. The other side of this digital background paper pocket, some more rust and eco dyed paper. And that is the end of this journal. So even though my printer was not printing all of the images that I want, I feel like I got a good cohesive journal by just using other items in my stash, along with Kelly's beautiful images. All right, so I'll flip through the other journal. All right, so here's the African-inspired part of the kit, and again, made the same way as the Caribbean journal, one signature. Fabric and Amazon packaging as for the cover. This image has been printed on canvas. Again, it was dyed canvas, so this image is going to be brighter if you printed it on white background. Backing that is wallpaper and a different doily fabric that's been rust dyed. All right, let's go inside. All right, so I stamped some canvas. Felicia of Bible Scraps gifted me these Colorations Adinkra symbol stamps, and they are beautiful. So this Adinkra stamp symbol means harmony. Again, we're starting off with some of Tamara's coffee dyed and rust dyed paper. It's gorgeous. This is hers as well. And again, I printed on dyed papers, so these images will show up brighter if you print on white. Some age graph paper I got from Renee. Renee's at it again. Dyed mead line paper. Can almost see the lines. Felicia also gifted me some beautiful napkins that are discontinued, and this is part of the napkin. I actually decoupaged it onto a previously collaged journaling card made out of packaging. And so you'll see some things come through the napkin image. And then this was actually the bottom of the napkin. And I just put it up there. This image is actually a part of a different kit of Kelly's. It's a part of her Africa-inspired journal kit, and I'll also link that kit down in the description box. This was printed on some, I think, just designer printer paper that had some pink watercolored images, and so you'll see that pink come through. This is also lovely. And I had already had it printed, so just like I'm going to use it. And that's the great thing. Kelly's kits often will work well with other kits of hers. This is part of the Afro-Carib journal kit. The other side I'll show you later. More rust-dyed paper, a rust-dyed doily that I made into a tuck spot. This is from a book that Cameron of Lotus and Nightshade gifted me. It's about a man and his African lute, also called a kora. It's beautiful, beautiful images, and I just thought that the text that went along with that was gorgeous as well, so you can stop that and read it if you like. And I just used that as a tuck spot for some of Renee's avocado dyed paper. And this is also a pocket here. Have some dyed paper in there. It's backed by some wallpaper, this image. Here's another Adinkra stamp. These are some cola nuts. And it's the meaning for this one is unity. Some rust-dyed watercolor paper. Another one of Kelly's beautiful images. Again, these colors will be different if you print on white. Here is a CD jacket with this eco and rust dyed paper inside. That's a flip. And also a tuck. This is the symbol for hope. It's an envelope. And inside I have some rust dyed line paper. Just lightly rusted. I probably used it as a top sheet to cover my rusting paper. This is a book that I was gifted. It's on Anansi, the spider, but I think this gentleman is actually the embodiment, the human embodiment of Anansi. It just has some really beautiful images. Wanted to incorporate into this journal. This is some of Tamara's black coffee dyed paper. This is some paper that I got at a creative reuse shop. It's a purple grid paper. It has a really nice texture. This is from a book. I'll show you another page of this book in the center of the signature, but it shows this African-inspired shield and spears. I just made it into a pocket. More of that line paper on this Nepalese handmade paper. Another one of Kelly's designs. A lot of royal images in this kit, which is really, really lovely. Here's the other part of that napkin that Felicia gifted me. Really, really cool images. More of my Rustin Eco Dye paper. This is a washi tape from Cookie Sticker Co. Coffee dye paper, line paper from Tamara. Some of my Rustin Eco dyed paper. Another image from Kelly. That's on printed on dyed glassine. Just love that. In this bag is a journaling card from Prima. It says Strong Heart. Here's some journaling lines on the other side of Kelly's digital. And that's on Tamara's rust dyed paper. And I added 2 cards, greeting cards from Hallmark Mahogany line. And actually these cards have Adinkra signs or symbols on them. This one is the sign for strength. I didn't even know that those symbols were there, and I had already decided that I was going to add these cards, and then I was stamping the Adinkra symbols. I was like, that's an Adinkra symbol. Awesome. And I've had those cards since 2021. Had no clue. Here's some of my rust dye paper. And this is the center of the signature. And it's this little boy asking his dad, how much do you love me? I'll put the book title and author in the description box. It's a beautiful image. Here's another one of Kelly's digitals. Here's some wallpaper backed dyed paper, rust dyed paper on this bag, on this side of the bag. And inside the bag is another Prima card. Here's one side of that digital. Another book page. It's basically this man with his lute and a horse. It's hard to see. Backed by wallpaper and made into a pocket. Here's this side of the Cookie Sticker Co. washi tape. Here's just that side of that napkin that I decoupaged, and then you can see the washi tape a bit better. That's Cookie Sticker Co. I don't think she's no longer in business. More of Kelly's journal lines on this side of the digital. I was gifted this card from Renee. Renee's at it again. And then I have some of my rust dye paper on this math flashcard. This is actually Kelly's print, but it's the other side of the page. So this is the other side of this canvas printout. So this is also canvas, and I've made it into a pocket and just put some recycled paper inside. And this Adinkra symbol is for the faith in a supreme being, faith in God. It's a rust dyed lace fabric flip. The other side of that beautiful book page. More rust dyed paper. Another Adinkra symbol. This one is for peace. Another napkin that was decoupage napkin that I got from Felicia. Just put some washi tape there, some fabric on the top, and the sticker that says "Trust Your Soul." All decoupage on a math flashcard. This is also my dyed glassine paper on the back, another sticker. More journaling lines. And this, I think, is a modified version of this Adinkra symbol for friendship. Fabric pocket. Rust dyed card that's stenciled with a placemat. This, again, just working with what I had and working with my printer that was going kaplunk. This is actually a digital Kelly's design. It has 3 women. But this is the one that turned out well. So I said I'm going to use it and just framed it with some scrap papers of rust dyed paper. Some fabric that I sewed onto some of my rust dyed paper. I believe I got that fabric from Tamara. So other side of that rust dye. And of course Kelly's design printed on some of Renee's avocado dye paper. It's really, really beautiful designs. This image is actually from another one of Kelly's digitals, her African Kings and Queens junk journal kit. I'll also link that down below. This gentleman actually comes with his queen, but I cut him out because I just wanted to have him showcased, and it just added him to the journal portion of the current journal kit page. And then we end with this beautiful painting that Tamara sent me. I cannot decipher the artist, but there that is, the signature of the artist, and just made that into a pocket. And here's another one of those mahogany Hallmark cards, and the Adinkra symbol for strength is there as well. And and inside. And so Hallmark has actually put this Adinkra symbol used in the card design originates in Ghana and represents strength and humility. And I'll show you some of the stamps that Felicia sent me. So they're spongy. They're sponge stamps. There's friendship. There's harmony. That's the stamp that's on the cover. There's unity. There's hope. Strength, just like those greeting cards. and peace. They're great stamps. Thank you so much again, Felicia, for those. All right, so thank you so much, Kelly, for your beautiful digitals. I would also just advise that if you do happen to purchase this kit, which is a beautiful kit, it gives you so much versatility. Um, I would advise printing with either one of those EcoTank printers or taking the file, your PDF file of these images to a printing shop or to Staples, because they do take some ink. They do take a lot of ink. So just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, the kit is absolutely worth diving into and getting, because you can do so much with it. And I didn't even scratch the surface of printing out all of the images that are in the kit. If you actually go to my Food Journals video, there are two more printables from this kit that's on those journal covers, and I'll link that video below as well. So you can do so much with this kit, and I'll continue to do it, or make journals with her images in this particular kit, because like I said, I could make three more theme journals with those images that she has gifted us in this kit. Thank you so much, Crafty Malika. Thank you so much for my crafty friends for your gifts that have supplied these journals with more goodies, along with Kelly's beautiful digitals. Thank you so much. Bye bye.